couples who have conflict are normal. Like, don't think, well, okay, we can't have any conflict because then that means we've got a bad marriage. No, talk it out, get it out, because like you said, Diane, we all have conflict.
We do.
We all have those moments where we just butt heads and it's hard for me to see it his way and he's hard, you know, but just kind of take a breath and say, okay, we got to talk this out.
And understanding that it's not a competition.
Exactly.
We're on the same team.
We are back in the kitchen with Mike and Diane, Eric and Kara, and conflict. I know that several times over the first 3 seasons of A Better Us, we've been dealing with conflict as a topic. It just seems to come up a lot because it seems to come up a lot in marriage, doesn't it? And so Neil and Cheryl, though, it's nice to hear different perspectives from different teachers. They had some great points there, but the idea of that research is that like 69%. It's the same thing, they're rehashing over and over and over. And that's the same for happy and unhappy couples. The difference, they say, is how you handle that conflict.
And that goes back to, your attitude when you're coming into this place where you've got to talk about something or something's happened and you're kind of doing this. How do you enter into that conversation? Are you already up here and the temperature's already, and so your spouse is automatically going to match you up here? Or are you calm? What kind of tone of voice do you use? Are you calm and loving? There's so much to think about with that.
Please, you.
I know for me, when we were first married, our first few years of marriage, I struggled with this because I didn't like conflict. I didn't like that idea of having to, plead my case or anything like that. And as we all know, my husband is very well spoken and very opinionated, and it was hard for me to be able to communicate how I felt. Right? So I would hold so much stuff in, right? And it would just build up. And then I would get so angry with him because he could just articulate whatever he had to say. And I'd be like, trying to get it out. And then, I walk away still not being able to get out what I needed to say. And I was angry. I was mad. And that resentment just continued to build up until I finally had to figure out, how can I get him to understand, help me be able to communicate what I need to say to you. Right? And a lot of times in a lot of marriages, that's the case. There's one person that's very opinionated that can get their case out and, they're done, they're good. And you struggle trying to say what you need to say because you're tiptoeing around I don't really want to hurt his feelings, but I need to say this, or, so it's a struggle, it's a battle. And until you learn how to communicate, it will be a battle.
And that was as much my struggle as it was hers, because I needed to pick up on the fact that she couldn't communicate and she was still frustrated, and I wasn't communicating enough to understand that, right? Yeah. So I got my point out, and so I just want people to know, right, that we all struggle. Yeah. We all go through it, and the statistics say that it's okay. And the real challenge is not when you're struggling, is when you're not. Right? Is when you're not trying to fight to get it better, but we learn how to navigate that better. Yes, right? So as a coach, I used to tell our guys, listen, we all gonna struggle sometimes. We're gonna have challenges. Absolutely. You know what it means if you got no challenge? You're dead. So it's better than the alternative. So it's not that whether we're going to have challenges, how we navigate them. And so,
yeah, I love the way they put it, where they separated the issue from, like, it's not because you're wrong. It's not because I'm wrong. It's they separate the issue, put it in the middle of the table, and then it's us versus the issue, and go around the table and be next to your partner, looking at that issue. And sometimes you just need to go from a different starting point. If it's a conflict that keeps coming up, maybe you should change your tactic and come from a different starting point. And maybe even that means praying about it together, and but not specifically praying, saying like, God help my spouse see it my way. But like maybe praying specifically for yourself about it. God help me to understand how we need to work through this.
Yeah, and her point of view.
That's right.
Help me to see it through her eyes. Yeah.
And sometimes God will help you to, might reveal things that are below the surface that you're saying, okay, here's the real issue is down here. There's something, there's a feeling of, insecurity, or there's something that that just kind of manifests in this more seemingly trivial thing up here. And so, prayer is a fantastic way to do it the right way.
And I appreciate the fact that he said that couples who have conflict are normal. Like, don't think, well, okay, we can't have any conflict because then that means we've got a
That's
bad
right.
marriage. No, talk it out, get it out, because like you said, Diane, we all have conflict.
We do.
We all have those moments where we just butt heads, and it's hard for me to see it his way, and he's hard, But just kind of take a breath and say, okay, we got to talk this out.
And understanding that it's not a competition.
Exactly.
We're on the same team. And I had to learn that too. It was like we were competing, like, I'm going to win this argument, right? Or he won again. I wasn't able to get what I needed to say out. But we're on the same team. It's not a competition.
Because if there's a winner and a loser, as
Then
we've
you're not-
heard,
Yeah.
you've
You're not
both
together,
lost.
you're not one,
You've
that's
both
right.
lost because you've damaged the marriage.
Absolutely.
Little coaching points too. I started out trying to help her win. When I got the philosophy right, I said, this is my queen. She's number one. The queen's got to win this one, right? And I didn't tell her that, right? But I had to change my own philosophy.
It's all about how you approach it. It's so good. All right.
All right. Well, I think we're just about at the end of the time, but we will be back to wrap things up. Thanks, everyone. Great discussion.
Stay with us.